I will just talk briefly about, give a brief background about CCMB. And do you have anything to? Yeah, there. The CCMB is located between IICT and NGRI. You can see the map where IICT is, the whole thing, this corridor is almost 400 acres. And all of them are CSIR Institute. We are in the middle and the youngest. So we kind of eked out of IICT way back in 1977. It was at 1st April 1977, CCMB came into existence as a semi-autonomous laboratory. And in 1987, 26th November, the building that where CCMB houses was inaugurated. The basic idea was to conduct research in the frontier and multidisciplinary areas of modern biology and seek its potential applications of the work. In fact, one of the things about CCMB is that, there is a combination of art and science that was emphasized very, very aptly by our founder, Pushpa Bhargava. And you can see very clearly that there is an artist gathering that used to happen regularly in those days. This was one in 1989. And some of the art that you see within CCMB is depicted here. We have 3 campuses. The main campus is where right next door. It is a 17-acre campus. And then we have 2 other campuses called Annexe 1 Lacones, which is around 5 acres, located around 20 kilometers from here. And the third one is the Innovation Hub, about which Madhu will talk a little more. And there we have few activities, including Incubation Center. So we have very strong presence in basic research, including structural biology, developmental biology, stem cell biology, genomics, and all the way up to immunology. And then we have activities in Innovation Hub, where there is an incubation center. We have skill development and innovation cell. Societal relevance activities that we have, Lacones is missing here, but the Lacones has animal conservation, both plant and animal conservation activities in Lacones. We have done many things, including diagnostics, crop technology, and wildlife forensics. Have almost 950 people. I don't want to look at this breakup just to show. And over a period of all these years, the work by our scientists have been well recognized. You can see that we have Padma Bhushan, Padma Shri, Ramachandran Gold Medal, Bhatnagar Awards, J.C. Bose Fellowships, Infosys Awards, and many other things, as you can very clearly see. One of the very, very well-equipped biology labs in the country. We have very cutting-edge bioinformatic facility, advanced imaging facility, transgenic knockout facility, zebrafish facility, and X-ray facility. And with this kind of facilities, one is expected to do quite well as a scientist, and that is reflected by, we also recently got a cryo-EM facility. As I was stating, one is expected to do very well, and it is reflected by the kind of publications we get in cutting-edge basic science journals, such as Nature, all the way. So only some of them are represented here. But let me tell you that all these journals are quite difficult to publish in. So, and with respect to some of the societal activities, we would say that, advent of DNA fingerprinting in India was started in CCMB. And it is by our fourth director, Dr. Lalji Singh. And, you can see very clearly that it was highly recognized, and it went on to become an institute by itself, CDFD, for which one of our CCMB colleagues, 2 of our CCMB colleagues were directors there, Dr. Chandak and Dr. Tangraj. And we have actually worked on improved Samba Masuri rice. Basically, Samba Masuri rice is severely affected by the bacterial blight disease. And they have Dr. Sonti, in collaboration with ICAR, has come up with this particular variety of Samba Masuri, which is resistant to the blight disease, and also it has low GI index. And this is another effort that is of ours, where we have introduction of the Indian mouse deer into the wild. And this is a program that is, again, a joint effort with the Central Zoo Authority, Telangana Forest Department. This is done in Lacones. And we have this was established by Dr. Lalji Singh regarding wildlife diagnostics. It's a thing where we can find out what is the animal, even if we have
small piece of an animal, we can find out both the what is the animal as well as we can find out the sex of the animal. And this is important in the context of poaching that happens pretty widely in forests and other places. COVID is something where CCMB has contributed immensely. This involved any kind of a viral disease. When you talk about, there are multiple aspects, starting from diagnostics, vaccines, treatment, surveillance, and mitigation. Mitigation is communication. We have done a pretty good job of communicating with public over the last 3 years regarding COVID. Diagnostics, we have come up with one methodology. Vaccines, we have actually standardized the mRNA vaccine in CCMB. Treatment, we have tested drugs for many, both academic as well as commercial organizations. Surveillance, I would say we have done antibody surveillance, which is serosurveillance. We are involved in proving that COVID is through air. And genome surveillance, we have sequenced approximately 15% of all SARS-CoV-2 genomes that were sequenced in the country. Sewage surveillance is something that we even, along with ISCT, we got an award for. And sickle cell anemia is another program which we were heavily involved. If you really know what sickle cell anemia is due to one mutation which results in glutamate to valine conversion, the hemoglobin becomes sickled, which is essentially kind of tends to aggregate, creating a problem. And you can, this particular thing, we have sequenced almost, not we have sequenced, we have screened almost 28 lakh people to find out that 11,000 of them are homozygous. And this was the initiative done and taken and done by Dr. Chandak. So we have, in addition to that, for the college kids who are here, we have we have a strong skill development program, and where we actually training programs at CCMB, various kinds of trainings we do, and this is throughout the year. Kind of went a bit down during the COVID years, but now it came back. And we have very strong outreach activities, which involves young students, educators, users of the CCMB technologies, media, policymakers, and statesmen. Basically, we even have programs for the school kids called Young Innovators Program and many other programs which will be available on the web. I urge all the students among, college kids and the students among you to actually check it out, and because there may be something that you may find it interesting and may give you an opportunity to spend some time in CCMB. This is our way of making you guys interested in more biology research. Right, and some of the articles which are available in web are given here. All right, and the last thing which I'm not going to talk about, but we have started an incubation center called Atal Incubation Center 6 years ago. It is CCMB, AIC CCMB, it is now referred to as. Here we have Dr. Madhusudan Rao sitting on the dais. Is the CEO of this one, and this we have in a lot of companies. Anybody with an idea can test out their idea in this place, and some of these ideas have turned out to be good, and they have moved on to set up good companies on their own. Right, that was the vision and risk this thing, and 90 plus startups have incubated. This is just an overview of all our activities. You will certainly find among the audience, whoever are college kids will find information regarding more of what we do on our website. You can look it up. Something may interest you, something we may be able to allow you to spend some time with us. Thank you. Before I close, I would like to thank Srinivas for always extending this auditorium to us, and Prakash for always accepting our invitation and coming for all the events of CCMB. Without this interaction and brotherlyhood that we seem to have developed across the 3 institutes, it would kind of, there is a certain easiness that has developed over a period of time. I'm very happy about it, and thank you for all the support.
Thank you, Dr. Nandikuri, for taking us through the journey of CCMB, the kinds of work that happens at CCMB, and the kinds of opportunities that the Institute offers to people like you. At the same time, I think we are also in a position to hear about what happens in the other 2 CSIR institutes in the city, IICT and NGRI, and we are joined by their directors. So I'll now invite upon Dr. Srinivas Reddy to tell us the work that happens at IICT and how you people can also contribute into it.
Respected Madam Dr. Kalai Selvi, Director General, CSIR, Secretary, DSIR, my fellow directors, Dr. Vinay and Dr. Prakash, Dr. Madhu, Dr. Somdatta, and all the dignitaries of the dais. There are many seniors sitting in the of the dais, and scientists, students. Very good morning to all of you, and welcome you to this 1 week, 1 lakh program of CCMB. Thanks to our Honorable Minister and Madam DG CSIR for giving suggestions and guiding us in conducting these 1 week, 1 lab programs. I can tell you that this is one of the very successful program across CSIR labs. So we got more visibility than before, which is very much needed in changing times. Through this, CSIR labs are connecting very much with all the stakeholders, particularly with young minds igniting about science and your achievements in science, so that they can also contribute, and also young innovators, startups, academia, and industry to look for opportunities. That's how they get to know more about the institute. That's how they get interest in the science and also our institutes. Yesterday, we were listening to Dr. Shivaram, is a very visionary leader, as part of Amrut Lecture Series. It is always a pleasure to know about our CSR contributions and also history, which will always, which should also remind us about our duty and also our responsibilities, what we need to do. Thank you, Madam, for giving time and visiting Hyderabad. Of course, we have been requesting you several times. Thank you for your time and visiting us. And as mentioned by Dr. Vinay, so Hyderabad is privileged to have 3 CSIR labs, IICT, CCMB, and NGRI in one stretch in this road, and we are neighboring each other. And this city has excellent ecosystem with so many academic institutions, research laboratories, and many pharma industries, and also biotech companies. Please do visit us frequently and interact with our scientists and students. And I can tell you all, Madam is a great speaker. She has art of speaking. Every time I listen to her, I became fan of her. And I'm sure you are going to witness her speech now. So I always have very high regards to CCMB. Although it is a small lab, it is with powerful people, very high level science, and some of them are sitting here. Of course, some of them are superannuated, but many of them are sitting here, and many accomplishments and all possible decorations. I mean, all awards and all prestigious fellowships and everything you can name. So you have seen in one of the Vinay slide. So in chemical sciences, IICT is the best in the country. And in biological sciences, CCMB is the best in this country. And also in global scenario, these 2 labs have, at least people can notice these labs, even global scenario. So we are next to each other. And little disappointing is we could have done little more collaborative work between these 2 labs. Of course, we did work in few projects, such as COVID projects, particularly where sewage water surveillance to detect the prevalence of the disease. For that contribution, we received award. I remember, Madam, Golden Peacock Award. We all went to Bangalore to receive that. So I'm sure we can do much more. And me and Vinay, of course, we came from outside the institutes, and we don't have any, if at all, any bad memories. We don't have those memories, and we're trying to get closer, as close as possible, and particularly in scientific manner. So we are already started interacting with our scientists. Also, we're putting them together. Already we put proposals together, and I'm sure we took 2 best labs sitting next to each other. I'm sure which we can contribute much more in the future, and I'm very hopeful that we'll contribute for the society and the science. So with this, once again, I congratulate CCMB and all colleagues of CCMB. I wish you all the best for this 1 week, 1 lab program. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Reddy. I would now like to invite upon Dr. Prakash Kumar to share his thoughts.
Good morning to all of you. Honorable DG Madam, Secretary DSIR, my fellow directors, Dr. Vinay and Dr. Srinivasa, senior scientists, my colleagues, students and friends from media. First of all, let me welcome our respected DG Madam to Hyderabad. Welcome you, Madam. And also, I am very much thankful to Dr. Vinay for inviting me to his 1 week, 1 lab program and asked me to be a part of this. I congratulate Dr. Vinay and the entire team of CCMB for celebrating this one of the very remarkable program of CSIR, 1 week, 1 lab. This has in time grown and flourished under the able guidance of our and also the leadership of our DG Madam. Next month, CSIR NGRI is going to celebrate 1 week, 1 lab from 4th of September. And I would like to invite you all to come there, be a part of it, and see how our CSIR NGRI is also connected to society, stakeholders, and to you. Let me first just briefly touch upon what CSIR NGRI is. CSIR NGRI is a unique laboratory in geophysics where all the divisions of geophysics and geology are under the same umbrella. And also we developed some of the indigenous instruments ourselves in last 60 years to measure the geophysical signatures of our Mother Earth. We are engaged in 2 types of research. One is the basic fundamental research to understand the Earth, its structure and composition from surface to the center of the Earth, and also for R&D aspect of exploration of like earthquake hazard, the hydrocarbon exploration, like oil, gas hydrate, mineral. A gas hydrate, as you know, is a ice-like structure found in the very cold region, permafrost, or in the bottom of the seabed. So apart from this, we also extensively work on the unconventional energy resources like coal-bed methane, shale gas, and etc. But all these things we have to do in a very sustainable and ecological way. But as you know, in order to do ecological way, we have to have a resource, the supply of the resource. And this resource should be extracted in the R&D should be in a sustainable way. Because otherwise, if the extraction or the exploration will not be in a sustainable way, it will be total mess, chaos. So we have to advise the mining in a sustainable way. We have to extract the groundwater in a sustainable way. But on the other hand, in order to become a developed country, we have to have a continuous supply of resources. And fortunately, our India has a huge resource accumulation. Varieties of resources are there. But the unfortunate part is that we could only extract less than 10% of it, that too from only the shallow surface of the earth. And so the deep-seated minerals, deep-seated resources, hydrocarbons, or the unextracted hydrocarbons are still lying. So with this, I would only say that the CSIR NGRI, having the expertise spanning for last 60 years, it has developed the capability to address these problems in a very sustainable and it can provide scientific solutions to it. So in the next few years, CSIR NGI has now the mandate or primarily engage in resolving some of the fundamental science issues and also translating our knowledge to the economic sustenance of our country. With this, I would again thank Dr. Vinay for inviting me and congratulate him and his entire team of CSIR CCMB for this memorable day. And best wishes and my support will be always there, as he said, that we all three labs are in a line. So any support, anything if he needs, then we are always ready. And my, again, best wishes, compliments for them a week long ahead. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Kumar. Now we will change our gears and get into entrepreneurship and the field of startups, the world of startups. And to take you onto this journey and give you a brief overview of what it means to have a startup, how does the journey of an entrepreneur look like, I'll invite upon Dr. Madhusudan Rao, CEO of Atal Incubation Center, CCMB. I must also mention that after Dr. Rao's talk, we will have some time to take a couple of questions from all of you. So be ready with your questions.
Good morning. I thank the director of CCMB for the opportunity and also the other laboratory directors. And special thanks to the DG, Dr. Kalai Selvi, for being with us to participate in our celebrations. Thank you very much for it. I look after a center called Atal Incubation Center at CCMB for the last 6 years. And good morning, all of you, the young and the restless. I'm sure you are young and the restless. What I'm going to do in the next couple of slides is to tell you what are all the opportunities out there for you besides the opportunities you normally see before you. One of the center that I'm looking after is promoted by CCMB. CCMB is a biology institute. So our focus has been on health and biotechnology. A lot of good things happen in institutes like ours, like IICT, CCMB, and NGRI, but many times they stay with us. There is also we always wanted to increase the impact of these technologies or the ideas that we have and take them out. So one of the things that this particular center, the incubation center, does is act as a bridge. How to take these things, that know-how, the expertise of the institutes to the society and make a difference. And in this particular activity, I want you to look at it as an opportunity as one of your future careers. So what I'll show you is, this one slide is a slide that tells you, it is a kind of very obvious thing that India has a lot of problems. And as you know, probably we are one of the top 5 countries in the world that generate knowledge. That means we know how to find solutions to our problems. But at the same time, we really don't make that happen as much as that we wanted to do. In the last several years, the ecosystem has changed so much. There are a lot of enablers who are created in the system. Like enablers like ours, a lot of incubation centers, a lot of government programs, and probably all of you must have heard of things like the slogans of the government about Atmanirbhar Bharat or Vocal for Local, Make in India. And these things have become much more prominent during the COVID time because we're totally dependent on other countries for our own good. So these things have really forced us to think deep to make our country more self-reliant. These enablers, there are so many enabling systems now in the startup ecosystem, and it encourages many of you who are young and want to do something on your own to become an entrepreneur. Remember, entrepreneurship is a business, but at the same time, while providing you a kind of financial security, it also provides you a kind of satisfaction of what you have been doing because you are impacting either society or somebody's life. So this is something that I thought I'll put it before you so that you would look at it as something, an option for your career to look forward. Please visit us at Atal Incubation Center or our tech show. In the tech show program also we have a lot of people. So please talk to them and see what kind of opportunities out there. So I'll tell you briefly about the advantages of institutes like CCMB in impacting. One of the things that we have done is during the COVID time, all of you know that the cost of a RT-PCR cost around $4,500, but actually it costs $50, right? But we have the capability, but we never exploited that to our own needs. And it's a low-hanging fruit. So we did a lot of investigations supported by Bill Gates Foundation to assess the capacity of India in producing RT-PCR. Now we have them plenty. Similarly, we have done for Rockefeller Philanthropy to do the same thing for antigen testing. And we also supported by a society called Human Society International to come up with methodology to decrease the usage of animals in drug development. There are so many alternates that are there. All these things are generated from CCMB, but they're all being taken out so that in an applied context, we can make them work. Similarly, Rural Electrification Corporation has given us some money to take the wildlife conservation technologies that CCMB has developed to the various other states. So we started a lab in Kashmir. Imagine something several hundred, thousands of kilometers away. We are remotely controlling a lab in Kashmir to transplant our technologies to that place. So this is a snapshot or a dashboard of our incubation center. We have more than 100 startups that went through us in the last 6 years. And we have invested something like $650,000 in various companies. We have 20 portfolio companies, but that means we invest in these companies. And these companies have raised $25 million over a period of time. And these also filed patents, 31 patents in the last 6 years. So this tells you something about us. Please, there are so many opportunities which I'll show you. These are all various schemes that we operate. Nidhi Prayas, NSTDB, Startup India Seed Fund. These are all funding programs where I can give you money, not big money, 10, 20 lakhs, if your idea is good and you are passionate. Remember, in startups, the first criteria is the passion of the founder. The rest of the things come later. So we have money to give you if you have a good idea and want to push it. So we also been supported by corporate social responsibility like REC and SPMCIL and Blaze. These are all the various companies that come to us to support in a different ways. So what I'll quickly show a couple of things is this is something that I talked about, Human Society International, where we want to develop a policy think tank, how to reduce the usage of animals in drug development because there are so many alternative animal models available. So why kill animals? So this is something we do a lot. And also, as I mentioned, we started a lab sometime back in Kashmir. And the next one is this. As I said, well, you are in a metros like ours, you may be exposed to some of these things. How about the people in Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities? In fact, we arranged a visit to the 3 different towns of Telangana, take our show to the road, and then try to tell them what kind of opportunities out there, something like what I'm talking to you right now. So in fact, when we did that, I also got a personal email from the Director General, just telling me that that's a good activity that we have taken up. Thank you for that. So this is our contact. If anybody, as you know, this program of this week is meant for those people to look at research organizations like ours and also the stakeholders come together and do something that benefits the country at large. If any of you are interested in looking at us further, please visit us. These are our social media handles. And thank you very much and all the best.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rao. We are now open for a couple of questions, if anyone has. We have colleagues here with mics, so if you have questions, you just raise your hand, a mic will go to you.
I have two questions. First question is about research technology and even and what are the various fields that research technology can be used and what kind of problems can be solved through that. The second question is about can human cloning ever be possible?
You were asking about cloning of human beings. No. That's the easiest one to say. The first one is about technology transfer. This one is a kind of very powerful technology, as you probably know. There are very good things have come out of it. And it is not the routine activity in all the labs, any molecular analysis. It's a matter of for what purpose you use it. But otherwise, it's a very, very powerful technique to. I can answer
that. CSIR has, IGA actually has something called a film Cas9, which is a very highly efficient Cas9, which does not make many mistakes, but as efficient as the Cas9 that is a patented abroad. And we have the technology, and IGNB in collaboration with many other organizations like AIMS are looking into the possibility of using FM-Cas9 for actually gene therapy. But this is in its infancy stages, but there is a possibility that the mutations that exist in the genomes of people can be corrected using the CRISPR technology. So what you do is you take the bone marrow cells, and from there you actually correct the mutation and put it back and hope that it is propagated. It's a long shot, but it is something that work is in progress.
Are there more questions? Okay.
Not again.
In the Chandrayaan 3 is in progress. Can in the future or is in the present Chandrayaan 3 biological research project any kind of thing can it be done in space also, or if it is being planned in the future projects of ISRO or simple answer will not be able to have in the future. No, but
Just to add to that, two companies, startups have approached us where they want to design experiments that can be loaded onto any of these space stations. A very nice biology. If you want to understand how the cell growth or the cell volumes in a zero gravity situation. There are companies that came to us who wants to find out those people who have these questions so that they can create a module so that they have a contact with the space centers so that they can put these experiments together and put them out there.
You talk about, for young and restless people. And so do you have a scope for the old and restless?
See, you are younger than somebody who's 80. Of course, I mean, many of the, or all the things that I spoke about is not age specific. Anybody who is interested, many times because you are in a certain kind of a profession, certain inflexibilities come in because you can't just simply do something else because of your commitments to the main job. But now if somebody wants to come out and want to do something, even today, it's quite possible. In fact, I think yesterday somebody was telling me the so-called famous company called KFC was started by a guy who is 65-year-old. So there is never, age is a number. Nothing to do with...
Thank you very much, Dr. Rao, and all other guests here for engaging in the discussion. It is now time for me to introduce you to the chief guest of the event, Dr. N. Kalai Selvi. Dr. Kalai Selvi is the first woman Director General at CSIR. She is a leader in electrochemical power systems, especially in sodium-ion, lithium-sulfur batteries, and supercapacitors. Across 25 years of her experience, she has focused on developing better energy storage devices. This includes working on electrode materials, designing newer methods of synthesis, and optimizing the many processes of electrochemical reactions. It's almost a year since she has taken up the position of Director General at CSIR. Let us invite her to hear more about what CSIR does.
Namaskar, Vanakkam, and pleasant morning to every one of you. I'm very happy to share my happiness with CCMB and all the two sister laboratories. Even though they share brotherhood, love and affection, basically they are sister laboratories. So, one point is eternal. Even to celebrate brotherhood, you require sister relationship. So I'm here to just share my happiness, especially with CCMB. When they are getting geared up to celebrate the next 1 week, exclusively for the sake of students, industries, or state government authorities, or startups, or entrepreneurs, or I would say the general public. So therefore, I thought that I should also come and just have or enjoy the small bit of it, and therefore I'm here. Friends, I should really thank the director, CCMB, Dr. Vinay, who is a very adamant person. He was going on telling, ma'am, you should come. I was also repeating my answer, I'll try and I'll try. You know, the way he just made me to say yes is, he said, ma'am, I'm coming. So we should really, many a times, and Dr. Vinay is one good example for that. And he is a very strategically very smart person. He said, ma'am, anyway, you are going to inaugurate this 1 week, 1 lab, but before that, I'll take you to some ongoing activities. Meaning is he wanted another X crores for the ongoing construction. And therefore, no, he said, ma'am, you will be thrilled, you will be excited, and I'll take you to a different place, not the laboratory, but the place which is getting constructed. Maybe you will not have seen the site work and all. Come, I'll show you all these things. But I understood. Because Because the hidden facts, like the way we have now with us Prakash, who will tell you the hidden potentials, whatever is there underground, whether it is water or metal or material. So with the help of Prakash, I understood, maybe the vibration of Prakash, I understood, oh, this is the hidden agenda. I got it. I should really thank, I forgot your name, Samnitha. So she really started this event by way of telling that CCMB is a laboratory which is really concentrating its research focus on living things. Because friends, there are two things in the entire world. So one is living, the other one is non-living. And Hyderabad, we have 3 laboratories and we are getting addressed all the possible disciplines of living and non-living. So living means whether it is plant or animal or human. I think whatever you say, this Vinay guy will come and say, ma'am, I have a program in it and I have some scientists working in that area. I have a project. If you are coming up with a scheme, I will submit 2 proposals. So I used to think what only this guy is doing. But now after reaching CCMB, I really understand that they have one more area which is called the modern art. And it is not the new area because he just made all of us to understand that it started as long as, 1989? 77. So I think CCMB is a great combination of arts and science, and especially for science on living things. And I'm really happy that he is always backed by Srinivas and Prakash. One person from chemical technology, he is helping CCMB in all possible ways of chemical technology. And rightly mentioned by Dr. Srinivas Reddy, because I always call him as Srinivas. I don't know whether he is Rao or Reddy. I think in Hyderabad, both are almost the same. So Srinivas was telling that COVID really made us to understand that we should work together. No, it's true. Many a times, friends, we will be sitting next to one person who will be able to give us all possible supports, but we would have never talked to each other and we would have never made the other person also to understand what is it that I require from you, and it is vice versa. So I'm really happy to hear such kind of a very positivity. So Srinivas has already agreed upon that. From that time onwards, they are working, and from now onwards, they will be working with more and more collaborative projects. And I should say, because it is very easy to believe, because I am just residing in one colony, wherein just opposite to my house, another director of the CRRI, he is also Central Road Research Institute. He is living just opposite to my house. And whenever I want to meet Dr. Parida, the director of CRRI, I need to have some conference or some directors meeting, because never we met in the campus, just opposite house only. So I always tell Parida, it's so good, you and me, the neighbors, we are meeting through a conference. So similarly, now COVID has done a lot of good things, because it made all of us to understand that what are the hidden potentials, what is the kind of harmony that is required, what is the kind of collaboration which is to be made, and all these lessons were learned from COVID time, for which CSIR labs are also not an exception. Because all the engineering labs, they rose to the occasion. Whatever could be done from every possible angle, whether it is a physical laboratory or a chemical laboratory or a biology or engineering laboratory, so they all rose to the occasion. They wanted to repurpose their available technologies. Many of them were successful in repurposing their technology from CSIR laboratories. So this is how all the laboratories, they also realized the, I would say, unexplored potential from their end, and they reoriented themselves and they repurposed many of the technologies. And this is how CSIR laboratories, we came onto the surface. And we also proudly lifted up our collar and said that we are also there in the race of mitigating COVID. Now I say, from this 1 week, 1 lab program of to get at least 2 or 3 projects wherein all the 3 laboratories are closely knitted to each other. Because Prakash is a very important person because Srinivas will be telling that to live on the earth happily, I'll give you medicine, I'll give you whatever is required in terms of chemicals, metals, materials, all these things, related technologies I will give. And Vinay will come and say, don't worry guys, I'm there. So whatever, whether it is a plant or animal or human being, all your challenges will be addressed by me. But you need Prakash because Prakash will only come and tell you, hey guys, to live on the earth, you need the earth. You need the globe. You need some stability. Therefore, believe in me. I should only tell you how long you are going to be there, how long the earth is going to be stable, and how many tussles are happening. So, he is also equally important and he is more than important than anybody else because we always say, doctors, by putting the stethoscope, because sitting outside, they'll be telling, oh, inside your stomach, all these things are happening. Therefore, Hyderabad is a great, great combination. Even if you want to live on earth, or if you want to understand how long this earth will be really existing, you need to finally run to only Hyderabad Laboratories. So this is a great, great opportunity for a city like Hyderabad. And I would say you, the young researchers, I will call you not as students. I would say you are the future of this country. And I will call each and every one of you as budding scientists. I think you are having the greatest opportunity of listening to all the three versatile area-wise researchers from these three laboratories. Friends, once upon a time, whenever you ask people, who is your role model? I think sometimes spiritually they used to say, because I want to be like Rama, because I want to have perfect discipline in my life. And sometimes I'll say, I want to be like Harichandra, because I want to talk only the truth. So this is how once upon a time role models were quoted. Then people started, this is more of a spiritual thing or more of a philosophical thing. Then the role models got changed. People started telling, Gandhi is my role model. Vivekananda is my role model. Meaning is they started thinking in the direction of building the nation and how best the youngsters, the young Yanaji, how the team forming or how to fight for the right thing. What is the extent of freedom that you can expect? So all these things that gave the leadership role, and this is how role models were decided later on. But now, if you ask, who is your role model? Many a times people say, even Bill Gates also, because apart from science, in my opinion, I think business is also getting very important role in the current scenario. But of course, Dr. Abdul Kalam, he made a great, great zeal of enthusiasm. And at one point of time, if you ask any school student or a college student, including me, even at this age, whenever people ask me, who is your role model? Without any hesitation, I will immediately say, Dr. Abdul Kalam. I was just talking to Aishwarya yesterday because I used to say also, when we were kids, when we were the school children or college students, we have never had the kind of an opportunity to go near any kind of a scientist. We have seen only scientists in the textbooks, but now the opportunities are so abundant. You can come, touch, feel who a scientist is. And how do they feel? Yeah, whenever I go to schools, the children will come and say, ma'am, can I touch and feel you? I said, yeah, please. Because very innocently they will ask you, because they just want to know who a scientist is, how a scientist will look like. So I always tell them, scientists will never have any great identity. I also grew like you only. Therefore, you should just give them a kind of a feeling that scientists are not getting defined with a different kind of a specification. We don't have any unique specification. We are one among you. And we also grew like the way you are growing. And in fact, many things were not at all available when the time we were the school children or the college students like you. And therefore, friends, I will say the most privileged community is the present students only. So that way, I should congratulate CCMB. He says, every day he is inviting 300 school children. Meaning is, before these 5 days are coming to a conclusion, At least around 1,500 school children will be visiting CCMB. Meaning is science will be able to reach a minimum of 1,500 students from this Hyderabad city alone, and therefore this is what is the main purpose for which CSIR was created. Friends, you may be thinking that CSIR is an organization wherein the science should be developed and it should be finding its application for Indian industries. But apart from that, what for this science is happening, what for Indian industries are existing? It is nothing but to serve the mankind, to touch the lives of the common people, and to serve the society. And therefore, I think in one of the mandates of CSIR, the Honorable Prime Minister, he asked at one point of time, what is it that you are doing it as a JIGYASA program came into existence? So the moment JIGYASA started, all CSIR laboratories, we just made sure that every laboratory is getting visited by always hundreds and thousands of school children every year. And friends, so far, you were given the privilege of visiting the laboratories under the umbrella of Open Day, only on one day in a year, which is called the Open Day, that is the 26th of September every year. But I should again thank the Honorable Minister of Science and Technology, who is always known for coming up with the new ideas, novel ideas. And it's a very thought-provoking way he said that, why don't you guys come up with the concept of 1 week, 1 lab? Meaning is, each lab should exhibit your science, your technology, your process, your product, and your technologies which are finding their application to industries and the society for a period of entire 1 week. There's a strong point that this 1 week, 1 lab is the platform by means of which we can always stay connected with students, industries, entrepreneurs, and startups. So at that particular thing, every lab is celebrating 1 week, 1 lab, and today CCMB is celebrating. And when the presentation was made by the director as well as by Dr. Madhusudan Rao, I think all of us were given a kind of a glimpse of activities. Friends, for a cellular and molecular biology laboratory, you will be thinking that some kind of basic science is happening over there, and therefore it is, for somebody it is going to be Greek and Latin, and for somebody it would be of your interest, and for somebody it is a totally new learning process. But apart from this basic science, apart from the basic science for its translational and transformational technological inputs for the benefit of mankind, they have two very important attractive things. One is iHub, which was already narrated by Madhusudan Rao, and the other one is Lacoons. Friends, I always used to say the nature has blessed us abundantly with a lot of metal value, mineral value, mines, and also humans also. But apart from that, the endangered variety, whether it is a plant or an animal, so who is there to take care of its sustainability? Because now the mantra, the slogan of the entire country is, or I would say the entire globe is sustainability. So how are you going to ensure that certain things are going to be sustainable in the coming days? Therefore, it is whose responsibility? I think without even being asked by anyone, CCMB rose to the occasion. So they rose to the occasion and they say that we are here to take care of the endangered varieties, and we will do different types of studies, and we will try to understand the more of the endangered variety, and we will also come up with some kind of technological solutions by means of which the sustainability will be assured at the end of the day. So this is one kind of a very, very interesting thing and very unique thing. And I was totally impressed by the way the scientists, they said that they used to travel, they used to stay in different ambience, they used to study, they used to collect, I would say, because it is not only DNA fingerprinting, but also the other ways of collecting maybe the residues, and they are able to come up with a kind of an understanding with respect to endangered varieties. And one day when I was just discussing with my people, someone said that CCMB is doing Samba Masuri. I said it is a cellular and molecular biology laboratory. What do they do with the plants? One day I asked Vinay also, Vinay, what is it that you are doing something on plants also? Then he said, yeah, we are working on Samba Masuri. So one of the slides he showed it, because now India is known for many things, our capability in IT, but also our greater strength in diabetes also. So India is becoming a diabetic rich country across the globe, and therefore, again, this low GI index rice variety, again, healthcare. Dr. Vinay is the team director of healthcare, and they are really taking the health of human by way of coming up with this kind of a special rice variety also. Therefore, this lab, in my opinion, is a multifaceted laboratory. Whether it is healthcare of a plant, because we normally call as One Health. I used to tell in CSIR family, One Health means it involves human health, animal health, plant health, metal health, material health, mind health, and these days I used to include data health also. I think you have not touched upon data so far. Leave it at least for 4PI. But I really appreciate the way the lab is trying its level best to find its relevance in all possible hot areas. Because now country is really looking for solutions, because somebody is really worried about human cloning, whether it will happen or not. ChatGPT has already started giving more than enough confusions, and you want to aggravate the confusion to the extent that human cloning should also happen. But science always considers all these factors in the very, very positive way. And the way you threw a question in terms of CRISPR technology is also again mind-blowing. Friends, I'm really happy that we were thinking that we are the only people who are all the time talking about this kind of CRISPR technology and all. But now we are so happy it is coming from the audience side. Are you a scientist? No? Thank you. So other than the professional researchers, professional scientists, somebody else is also totally aware of it, interested to know more about it. And therefore, this is the way the system should get learnings from CSIR laboratories. Friends, CSIR is an amazing organization. It was started in the year 1942 when there were no Indian industries, but it was named as Council of Scientific and Industrial Research. Then also you can ask what are the industries, Indian industries, which are getting benefit out of this CSIR. This is where Madhusudan Rao's role is coming into picture. Whatever we do within the laboratory, we can just give a scientific shape and we can go up to a particular technology readiness level. But always Indian industries, like the way which was told by Professor Shivram in his lecture yesterday, Indian industries, I would say even globally, all industries, they just want to take up any technology. They want to adopt any technology only when the profit ratio or the profit is completely assured and ensured. Therefore, everybody is interested to take up the technology at its technology readiness level of greater than 7 or 8. But we, the poor researchers, within the laboratory, we will be able to make up any technology up to a technology readiness level of 4, at the max 5. Therefore, who is there to support the in-between 5 to 8, this kind of a travel from TRL, that is technology readiness level 5 to technology readiness level 8. Who is going to support? So this is the very important and the hot area. It may look like a gray area today, but it is no longer a gray area because we already started thinking that CSIR is coming up with a kind of a concept of technology scale-up corridor. Just today morning, I was just sharing it with few of the topmost leaders of this particular laboratory. So technology scale-up corridors will be created across the country, I believe, because it is only a concept, it is only a suggestion. But CSIR is now suggesting it to the Government of India through various platforms, wherein the Government of India can come up with some kind of an arrangement, some kind of a funding, some kind of a scheme, some kind of an announcement by means of which maybe these kind of technology scale-up corridors should be made available in the country, not in 1 or 2 places, at least in 6, 7 places, by means of which the technologies from the laboratory, whether it is from the laboratory of an academia or the laboratory of a national laboratory, so these technologies will be getting their maturity in that technology scale-up corridor, because there the objective is only to scale it up. So already POC is done. So if you just want to make it in scales, you really need more money and you really need more confidence, because that involves some amount of risk also. So that is where the academia, industry and research organization, the so-called public-private partnership will happen. And if this concept is going to be implemented, I think days are not so far off. We will be able to come up with the so-called self-reliance. And Madhusudan Rao was talking about Atmanirbhar Bharat, Vocal for Local and Make in India, AVM. He just showed it that way. So this kind of Atmanirbhar, Vocal for Local and Make in India, all these things are to ensure only self-reliant India, and we can very easily make it to happen. Therefore, as a first step, we from CSIR, NCL is the first laboratory to think about venture center, just to encourage the startup. Now the government of India is really giving more than enough importance to startups. So once upon a time, the startup, I would say at least 9 or 10 years back, the number of startup was in few hundreds. 5 years back, it was around 4,000. But today, the number of startups is 100,000, meaning is 1 lakh startups are there. But the most important question is, among the 1 lakh startups, how many are going to be a sustainable startup? So the Honorable Minister of Science and Technology, Jitendra Singh Ji, will always put it as a question. You guys always proudly say that there are around 100,000, 1 lakh startups who are available today. But you from CSIR, what is it that you can do to ensure that these startups will remain as sustainable startups in the coming days? That is called handing over the technology. But friends, we from CSIR, we realized and we are practicing now, we are not only just handing over the technology, many a times we handhold the startup also. That is what Madhusudan Rao through his iHub is also doing. So I should really appreciate CCMB for this kind of an initiative, which is, they are doing it with the help of support from Niti Aayog. Now they are finding their financial support from MeitY, DBT and other organizations also. And this is the first time I'm listening to somebody from within my own CSIR family. Because normally people will say, ma'am, how much money you will give? But this is the first time he is coming and telling, I have some money. If at all you have some idea, I'm here to give you the funding. The first financial supporting system, my financier is now Madhusudan Rao. First time in this 1 year time, this is the first time I am just listening to somebody on the stage coming and telling, don't worry, if you have idea, I have money. Many times I want to say, but the words are not coming out. Why? Because you are flooded with ideas. And you know that if DG says yes, definitely she will give. But if I look back my kitty, it is not allowing me to say even one word. But Madhusudan Rao, I really appreciate you. You gave me the comfort zone. Now I can tell you, not only CSIR, even iHub of CCMB is also really willing to accept new ideas, willing to promote ideas, willing to support startups. And I'm so happy that he says that he is having 100+ success stories and few crores have been raised by the startups who really incubated from his particular place. And when we were taking the breakfast, he shared the very great news of 4 research scholars in the recent times. They also started his particular place for doing this startup kind of research as well as technology transfer. Friends, yesterday, Professor Shivram made it as a point. When the country is planning for 2047, and when we from CSIR, we are planning for 2042, why? Because we will reach our 100 years in 2042 itself, because 5 years we are senior to independent India. So in the year 2042, what he said was, from the available number of scientists, a minimum of 1/3 of scientists should be converted, should really consider startup as their research culture. Are we making up our mind to consider this new culture? Because many a times, again, I would say the culture or I would say the fascination is also getting changed day by day. Once upon a time, people believed that the moment you join in any organization, especially for government organization, they will say it's a permanent job. So the day you join your life, you are settled in your life. You need not worry about anything and everything. But again, now the situation is getting changed. Even within government organizations, people, they resign, they switch over from one to another. That is hoping with respect to different organizations is happening. And IT field also really gave a lot of opportunities. They proved it in real-time applications that moving pebbles will also gather mass. Because we were believing moving pebbles gather no mass. That was the proverb. Today the proverb is moving pebbles also gather mass. Meaning is if you are capable, if you are willing to do something, there are so many takers. It is a way you should project, like the way Chandak projected today, that I am 60 years old and I am restless because I want to dissipate my energy in terms of science and technology. Do you have any provision for me? He put a straightforward question to Madhusudan Rao. Meaning is, I fully endorse the views of Chandak. Friends, once upon a time we believed that at the age of, up to the age of 40 is a performing age. No. Again, it is getting changed. The culture is getting changed. Now, yesterday also I just made it as a point. Professor Devang Katkar, the former director of IIT Mumbai, he said, I am a 60 plus old person, but now only I feel that I am highly energetic. My health care is already taken care. I am fully available for the purpose of science and technology. So in my opinion, 60 plus is now assuming additional attraction in terms of their fitness in terms of health and their fitness in terms of capability, because the kind of exposure, the kind of experience that they gained, they will be able to share it. They'll be able to invest it. I won't even say share it because nobody is willing to listen to advices now. So they will be able to invest it by means of which the country can really see the benefits. And therefore, I think in startups, when we talk about sustainable startups, Madhusudan Rao can consider recruiting 60 plus age people for mentorship so that the sustainable startup concept also gets its validity. It's easy to give advice, no? So I'm just giving to him. And so the culture is, again, in science and technology, what is the new culture that is to happen is, I again go with Professor Shivram's words. Friends, up to the age of 60, definitely we can do science and technology in the umbrella of CSIR. Maybe another 6 years or another 5 plus 5 years, 10 years in terms of maybe J.C. Bose fellowship or some Bhatnagar fellowship. Some name we can do all these things. But even after that, like the way he said, how many of us are really making up our mind to get ourselves converted from the terminology or the definition of researcher to a startup? If at all of us are able to think in this direction, whatever I have learned, whatever I have experienced, whatever I have experienced and experimented in the laboratory, can I just put it in real-time application? Can I just become a startup by myself, or can I be a good mentor to another startup by means of which I can really see that it is getting its sustainability? So, Dr. Vinay, so sustainability of plants you are taking care of, sustainability of animals you are taking care of, sustainability of human with a good health care you are taking care of. So sustainable startups also should be taken care by you. So you have the system which is already there in the arrangement, but you can take the help of other CSIR laboratories, come up with some kind of a concept. Let us make some kind of an arrangement by means of which startups see their sustainability in the coming days. And friends, I wish to conclude my talk by telling only one very important message. I used to tell it whenever I happen to meet students. It is nothing but reiteration from my end. Friends, to what extent, my young friends especially, to what extent you believe in yourself or you believe in India, I have no idea. Because it's becoming a fashion that it's happening in US, it's happening in Europe, it's happening in West. No, what's happening in India? Please have a look at it. No way we are inferior to anyone. And the history is now getting changed. Once upon a time, two countries were lauded by the entire globe for its population. One is China, the other one is India. Now China has rewritten the history. China has created a new history. I'm not going into the nuances of the history because the scientific ethics and other things, reliability, all these factors, putting aside all these factors, China has already proven to the entire globe that they have really redefined themselves because no longer anybody can laugh at China for the kind of population. They made it as an asset. They proved it as an asset. They came up with a kind of a concept that call back Chinese. They started it 2 decades back. 20 years back, they just initiated it as a kind of a campaign, as a kind of a movement, and they made it as a kind of a law also. To some extent, legally, most of them were called back to the country. And by the time the country made all the infrastructure available, and today now China is really rocking the globe with a number of science and technology related innovations also. But I will tell you, no, we are inferior because we are already bestowed with a lot of scientific talents, technological skill sets. Above all, we have a great belief in ethics and working culture, because for us 100 means 100. Unlike anybody else for whom 70 is equal to 100, for us 100 means 100. We don't even believe 100 is 99.99. No, 100 is 100. Therefore, with all kinds of this kind of a great belief in culture, great belief in scientific ethics, with a great human resource which is available in the country, whether you believe it or not, the globe started believing that India is going to be the global leader in terms of science and technology. So, the last century was not in our favor, but please believe this century is going to be the century of India, for India, and by India. So who can do that? It's only you and I, meaning is researchers and students. We only can do. And all the leaders, those who are decorating the dais, they are at the service of whatever is needed from your end. Please make the best usage of all this mentorship. Let us all stand in one line. Let us handhold each other. Let us take some kind of a pledge that whatever I'm going to do in the next 6 years is going to change the fate of this country for next 6 decades. And I should also be a part of the country to become a developed nation. And I should also contribute in terms of science and technology for the country to be celebrated in the global scenario for its science and technology. Finally, climate change is remaining as a sword, and this could be addressed not by XYZ, but it could be addressed only by means of science and technology. Let us all unite. Let us showcase our synergy. Let us all work together and fight against this climate change related consequences also. And let the journey starts from today. And this 1 week, 1 lab, I wish this program every success. And I wish to congratulate not only Vinay for his leadership, but the entire CCMB family, along with the family of IICT and NGRI, because all the three are working with respect to each other and they're supporting each other. I wish this event a grand success. Thank you so very much. Namaste. Have great times. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kalaiselvi, for that engaging discussion, ranging for our diversity of audience here today, the young and the older. We now have time for 2 questions, if anybody would like to ask from the audience.
What is the impact of AI and is there a possibility of including AI in like scenarios? What is the impact of including AI to like scenarios? Is there a possibility?
So artificial intelligence and machine learning, I think that is the buzzword and that is the hot topic. And even in CSIR, we are completely so AI and ML, once upon a time, I used to tell a very simple example. When computer-related technologies became popular, once somebody was saying, my salary is computer design salary. Everyone was thinking, how computer can design a salary? So there was a change to what once upon a time. So every time, then, at those point of time, many things were unbelievable. Slowly, everything got supported by computer and related technologies. Now, we are moving to the next era of AI and ML. Even quantum computing is also coming in the future. So, AI and ML, I believe that can horizontally touch upon all the verticals of science and technology. Whatever you say, whether you talk about metals, whether you talk about human healthcare or plants or agri or bio or nutritech, or even ecology or environment or civil infrastructure. Because even we from CSIR, we are working under 8 thematic areas. And all the 8 thematic verticals could be joined horizontally, could be connected, touched upon horizontally by one particular area, which is the area. And we from CSIR, cautiously, we are also taking the efforts to come up with kind of a AI and which is already on the way. So they may have to be a priority to do important factors. One is smart agriculture, because smart agriculture and precision agriculture are the two very important forms of agriculture. I used to share always, once upon a time, farmers things, we had a kind of generation for farmers. But in the 21st century, farmers, you can just look at a farmer who is just appearing with the coat suit and tie, and he's talking not only English but also he's talking in different languages. And he talks about the science behind his farmland, the science behind the grain that he's doing, whether it's paddy or any other grain. And he talks about the complete technology behind it also. So this is how the area of agriculture is becoming smart agriculture and precision agriculture. Drone technology is also adding value. That is one. And the second part of AI that we are already doing is with respect to metals and minerals. But we wish to just extrapolate to touch upon all the remaining metals also, and we are already at it. And this financial year also, another similar version of AI level based mission program will be hugely funded by CSIR for its next version. So we are already at it. Did I answer your question? Because that's also
Anybody else? We have time for just one more question. If anybody has. Perfect.
You are eligibility condition is finished because already you have taken 2 questions. Now we consider her.
Good morning. As you just discussed about the integrating AI with many other tools, I would like to ask you that we cannot ignore the negative impacts of AI that we are facing today. So, are there any measures you people have taken to compromise those negative effects? Because AI, the major concern is that AI, so there's any measures that you guys have taken to compromise people?
I think it's a good question. Whenever in data science and technology, any new technology or new invention happens, always it will be debated for its pros and cons. When computer technology became popular, also people said that when computers are going to take advantage, I think a lot of employment problem is going to happen. And similarly with robotics, now also robotics is getting popularity. And in many cases, robotics-based automation is becoming the state of the art. It doesn't mean that a human will be completely thrown off from that one. Even though we talk about driverless cars or gearless cars, again we need a human touch. Because when there is a sudden break happens at the edge, then the next coming car from behind they should also have some kind of understanding. So all these things are already taken into consideration whenever science is coming up with new areas like that for which AI level is also not an exception. But in my opinion, AI and ML for this expansion will not affect the opportunities of university, because whenever you feel that my chair is getting occupied by Vinay, before I should understand that, I should find a paper. So when what I was doing to be done by AI and ML, now I should think about what next. What is the area in which I should move on, by means of which I should still able to prove that my existence is really required for the group for its existence. So, and I believe in circular economy, and also I believe in the balancing, natural balancing. So whenever this kind of innovations they take place, automatically the next direction will also happen. And we from scientific side, we should ensure that we are taking all these policy into consideration. I can completely understand, because at your age, had I been you, I would also put the same question. But when you become like me at this age, you will understand that yes, it was not the mere words which were told by Tyson, which is getting proven eventually. So I still believe that whatever is being occupied by computers, whatever is being occupied by robots, whatever is being occupied by AI and ML, still there is a place for human brains. Because human brains only design all these things. All these people rely as supreme power. And other nature can continue to rely as the most supreme power. So this is the ideation of nature that we continue.
Thank you very much. Only for the paucity of time, I'll have to close the question and answer session right now. I would like Dr. Vinay. I'd like Dr. Vinay Nandikuri to felicitate the chief guest, Dr. Inkalai Selvi.
ultra-pure water products for kidney dialysis as well as laboratories.
Okay.
So the kidney dialysis water has already been commercialized. It's in about 50 hospitals all across India. Now this is our second product. By the way, it's based on ISCT technology. Membrane is based on ISCT. So now this is, you know, milky water. Right? This is milky water. So we are looking for, right? So we are looking for your support to put this in maybe CSIR labs first, and then go to the larger market.
Just make it as a pamphlet,
Yeah,
circulate it to
sure,
all the laboratories.
sure.
Then we can
Yeah.
ask few people to share the feedback.
Yeah.
Then we can ask people.
And we've actually compared this on HPLC with your milky machines, and it's quite equivalent. So the measure we look for is resistivity and endotoxins and all that. We are very, very comparable to milky.
All the very best.
Thank you.
One bite about your, what do you feel about this? Just startup, just one bite, yes.
No, I think this entire arrangement is covering all the facets of not only the cellular and molecular biology, but also the human healthcare, plant healthcare, and animal healthcare. The kind of response that is being received from students and the general public is also just beyond my imagination. I'm really amazed, and I'm more than excited to see, because so far I have been just listening, but today only I'm just seeing. Seeing is believing. So I fully believe that real great science is going on here. I'm really happy. Thanks.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to My Startup TV.